Hello and welcome to the Sunday Preview Rundown, and today they are coming at us with fire and faith in the new codexes of Sisters of Battle and Genestealer Cults, sorry. In addition to that, we have the new Pariah Nexus stuff, so let's check those out. First and foremost, we have the chapter-approved Pariah Nexus Mission Deck and Mission Objectives. This replaces the Leviathan Mission Deck from the release of 40k, 10th edition. And it will have updated missions, secondaries, so on and so forth. They are replacing the pretty bad Gambit system with the new secret missions, so I'm excited to see what those look like. Hopefully they will be more relevant than the Gambits were. This looks great, and this is a pickup for everybody. Everybody who plays regular Warhammer 40,000 needs one of these. Possibly less useful is the objectives. This picture confuses me because here's what it says. If you want to upgrade your objectives, a set of 6 large markers is the perfect way to tell if your models are in range or not. Each marker encompasses the entire control range of a regular objective and can be placed under terrain and models to keep the battlefield orderly all game long. So that would indicate that this is a 40 mil marker and 3 inches to the edge, which means this whole thing is over 6 inches wide. How big is this? Because this would be 13 inches wide at least, and I'm gonna go with 1.5 feet tall. Like, this thing is huge. But then you look over here and this looks small because this is like a little hanger thing, and those are like, what, 1 inch? So I'm confused. This picture confuses me. If these are just 40 mil markers, then I'm not interested. But if these are 6 inches, then you know what? I'm in. We'll see. We'll see what happens. First in the codices are the Adepta Sororitas. Meltas and Flamas abound. We get... Ooh, does it say? Does it say? Wow, that's hilarious. Okay, so this one does not say how many detachments you get. Adepta Sororitas Sisters of Battle is a pretty big army compared to some of the other newer armies. Because you look at World Leaders or Votan and they have like a dozen or so data sheets, and Sororitas have a bit more than that. Excited to see what this holds. Sisters have been like on the cusp of fantastic, like middling to good in their index, so we'll see what their codex holds. In addition to that, we have their Battleforce with the, what's her name? Canoness with Jump Pack. That was easy, I should have known that. And this is very similar to the Space Marines Battleforce that I can't remember the name of with all the Jump Pack infantry. Has 10 Seraphim, 5 Zephyrim, which they are the same kit, so you can build these as 15 of one or swap the 5 and 10, whatever, and then also an Exorcist. So very fast, zoomy, gonna get the job done, and with the new character that we don't know what it does, but it looks fine. I wish it was, is it a little strange to say I wish it was more detailed? Because it just looks like a Seraphim, right? Like, I'm not crazy there. These models look very similar. If you cover up the tactical window and the flying kit, like these two are interchangeable. Plus, we get the Ministorum Priest with Vindicator that was in Blackstone Fortress, which is awesome. This model is great. I love it. And I believe this is the one that was in... I'll cut this if it wasn't. But I believe this is the one that was in the Darktide box. But I'll cut it if it's not. Anyway, we have the Sororitas dice and data sheets. We have... Does not say how many cards there are. They're holding back some information here. And it might just be this picture, but man, these dice are hard to read. Pearlescent black with gold pips. But if that gold is this dark, God, these are going to be impossible to read. Can't wait to see these in person to see how good they are. And lastly, for the Sororitas, we have their new combat patrol, which, thank God, we're replacing the old one, because the old one was a mess. I don't know why they did it the way they did it, where it was like 3 Seraphim, and... No, it was like 4 Seraphim and 3 Flagellants and like 2 of this one other thing and 1 of the Paragon suits. No. Now that we've changed to 10th edition and we have fixed unit sizes, this is how we have to do it. And I'm okay with it. So it has the old Canoness, highly customizable Canoness, 10 Battle Sisters, 10 Archoflagellants, and 5 Sacrosants this looks pretty cool. It's a good starter into the faction. I don't know how any of them perform in the game, obviously, with the new Codex coming out. But I think this would be a good way to dip your toes in and see how you're feeling with them. Next, and closer to my heart, is the Genestealer Cults. This artwork back here, by the way. But first of all, we talked about this. Josh and I talked about it. These are the first books that they are releasing for 10th edition that I believe have new art on the Codex covers. And this one with the Aberrant, that one really gets me. That one looks awesome. Still not buying it, but looks awesome. And the reason I'm saying that they're holding some information back is that this does say that there are 5 detachments, including Brood Brother Auxilia, that lets you merge select Astro Militarum units into your army. How that works, if it's like it is currently in the index or more detailed, who knows? But the Sisters Codex did not say how many detachments they were getting, and this one does. Strange. Then we come in with their Battleforce. They have the new Big Brain Benefictus, a anti-tank psyker. We'll see how that works out. A unit of Aberrants, 5 Aberrants, an Abominant to lead them, which is basically like the big brother of the Aberrants. 10 Neophytes, 10 Pure Strains, and 2 Goliaths, which can be either the truck, which is the transport, or the Rock Grinder, which is the gun platform. And this looks sweet. You get 2 tanks with it, which is pretty impressive. I'm very glad it's not coming with any Magus or any of the Brood Coven, because we're getting a box of those with the Kill Team box coming out. This looks good. I might pick this one up. I already have one of the Abominants, and I do already have 2 trucks. Do I have 3 trucks? I think I have 3 trucks. But I might pick this up myself, because you can never do with... Come on, Neophytes. Can never have enough Neophytes. And here is where we unfortunately say goodbye to one of the best combat patrols in 40k in the Genestealer Cults Combat Patrol. The old one was amazing. The new one is good. It only has 1 unit overlap, which can be built as 2 different units. So it's a good addition to the other one. The bikes are interesting. They fluctuate between being ridiculously good and kind of expensive. Currently, they're kind of expensive, but we'll see how that works out in the Codex. The Jackal Alphas is the leader of that unit, which is the leader in this unit, or in this box. A Achilles Ridge Runner, which was the hotness in the index because it takes away cover and gives an AP to anything that shoots its target. And it has 10 hybrid metamorphs, which can be built as Acolyte hybrids, so you've got a little bit of customization in there too. Overall, pretty good box. This one I unfortunately won't be picking up because I already have a ton of these bikes, but it is a pretty good deal if you're looking to pick up everything. In addition, we have the Genestealer Cults dice and data sheets. This one also doesn't say how many data sheets, so we'll see when it comes to it. It looks pretty thin, but we'll see. These dice are significantly more readable. They're very plain with just the white pips, but not terrible. Better than the Sisters ones. Moving on from the new codices, we have the Big Mech, which was the release for the Orks in their Battleforce, and he's coming out by himself, which is great because this model is gorgeous. He is exactly what Orcs should be. The cutting into your, like, putting this attached to him is a little strange. I don't know how I feel about that, but I guess he's a mech, so it comes to the territory. On top of that, we have the Shield Captain, or Totally Not a Votan, is how people see him. He's fine. Not a huge fan of Custodes myself. The people that like him love him, and it's a good way to get an actual Shield Captain rather than having to buy a box of Alaris and building your own, this is better. And we have issue 501 of the White Dwarf. It doesn't look like anything too special, at least on the cover. Some Era of the Beast stuff, so the end of Age of Sigmar, building a battle report board, so some tutorial stuff for crafting, and Warcry Pyre and Flood, so some extra stuff to add to your Warcry is what I'm assuming. Some of this stuff has been delayed in other countries. Check that out for where you live. Some in Japan, some in the Europe and UK, and some in Australia, New Zealand, and Japan. So keep in mind that it may be slightly delayed for your area of living. And that is it for this week. Quite a few exciting releases this week. We have the mission deck that everybody's going to be using, I'm assuming, for the next year, if the Leviathan deck is any indication. And then 2 new codices, both of which are interesting and deep indexes, so we'll see how they pan out with getting their new detachments. And I hope to hear Josh's opinion on all this soon. And until next time, bye-bye.